Hello everyone, today is my turn for the Bee Summer Inspired collaboration for RachandBella Crafts, and you will have already been watching lots and lots of fabulous tutorials already going through the letters of the alphabet, and today is my turn with the letter T. And here I am, Marie, and you've reached me at Crafty Landing. And Rachel was clever enough and helpful enough to give us all some prompts to go with our letter. The letter T, I'm very lucky, aren't I? Because you can think of lots of things journaling with the letter T. And on some of the prompts that Rachel's given for the Bee Summer Inspired prompts are tropical, travel, tennis, tags, torn, tattered, tickets, texture and tucks. Lots and lots of prompts. And some of these have already sort of been touched upon in other collaborators' tutorials. And of course, that's what happens in journaling, isn't it? Lots of these will cross over into different things. The kits that Rachel has asked us to use for the Bee Summer Inspired collab are the Truly Blue kit, which if you've watched my previous videos you will have seen my flip through of the journal I made for last month's design team project, and I used the Truly Blue kit. It's so gorgeous, so versatile. The Nanna's Roses kit, quite shabby chic, very me, the Nanna's Roses kit, and her new one for summer, Sounds of Summer. And in her Etsy store or her Ko-fi page you will find some discounted prices of the kits at the moment, and this Sounds of Summer one is huge. It's huge, along with the Nanna's Roses, that's huge, and so is the Truly Blue. You get mountains of journal pages, ephemera, background sheets. Rachel truly gives you an amazing kit, and you can see just from these title pages how beautiful it is when it's printed. So go and have a look at her Etsy store or her Ko-fi site, choose some digitals that you like, download them, print them off, hey presto, you're ready to go. Now, for my collab today, I have decided to use Nanna's Roses. And I will show you in a moment what I'm going to be doing with that. So let's put that away, and let's put that away. And this is what I am going to be making with you today. And you can see this tiny little thing that fits into my hand, and you might be thinking, letter T, Marie's done something tiny. You are correct, but not only have I made something tiny, I have made this tiny little journal folio using the Nanna's Roses kit, but also I've put it together using tea bags. Yep, I have used tea bags. We'll have another closer look at it in a moment, but I just want to show you the tea bags and what I did. So my mother, Denise, who some of you will have met on the retreat, said to me, oh, you're using real tea bags. And I went, no. And she might have been right. Perhaps I should have used genuine tea bags, but I wanted them to be, oh look, you can't see that, can you? I wanted them to be this shape. I wanted them to be perfectly rectangle so that I could get the folio made together. So I went ahead and from Amazon I just bought a whole load of white tea bags, and this is how they come. And the pack I got was 100. You get 100 of these things, but as you can see they are white, aren't they? So what I did was I dyed them and I inked them up. using some inks. And you can see that these ones here are this colour, and I did these ones using, I think it was the tea dye. Yeah, it was the Tim Holtz Distress Ink tea dye. So that's the tea dye ones. And the darker ones, as you can see, I used a mixture of the tea dye with, I think it was walnut stain. Let me have a look. Bring it out. Yes, walnut stain. So those ones made the walnut stain. They're okay, but to me they look slightly muddy. So I'm not going to be using them ones today. So we are going to be using the tea stained ones, tea for tea bags. And now I want to just quickly show you how I did these. And all I did was I squished my ink onto my heat map or blending mat if you've got one, and I got some water. You can probably just about see it here. Spritzed it with water, there you are, and I literally just got my white tea bag here and smooshed it around. I love that word, smooshing. So I just smooshed it around, took my time, maybe added a bit more ink. It did take quite a lot of ink and water actually smooshing, because as you can see that's not completely covered. So I did it again, and then I would have smooched it. The string is easy to take out. All you have to do is open it slightly, and at the corner here you can just pull the string out. So that's easy to pull out. Save them, don't throw them away, they can be used. Everything can be used, can't it? We don't throw anything away. And I just then left them to dry, and that's literally all I did. So today we are going to be using the tea stained ones. So I'm going to show you now the folio that I made with the tea bags, and then we'll get cracking and I'll show you how I put it together. So I used some, this is bed sheet, you can use ribbon, but I've used torn bed sheet, which I, oh, are we in focus? There we go. Which I dyed myself. I always dye by old bed sheets, numerous colours, just with a bit of ink, sort of like, it could even be fountain pen ink, but I just dye it, yep, using anything I can really. And it was long enough so that it was wrapped round and it can be tied like that. So this is the front cover, and I've used a picture from the Nanna's Roses kit, bit of clustering here, and stuck that on the tea bag. The Nanna's Roses kit I've printed off small, 2 to a page, and then if we open here we've got a bit of cluster here. If I hold that up you might see it slightly better. There we go, and I've added a flower there, bit of clustering going on, and then we've got lots of pieces of ephemera in there. Let me just show you. There we go, all the bits of ephemera here. I've backed them onto tea stain paper, inked them all up, and they will go in those pockets there. So that pocket there, and then these bigger ones go in the pockets at the back like that. And then if we open it up again, we've got another picture and a cluster and more ephemera pieces in pockets here. And then this centre bit here is a mini journal, and I've just used a bit of the Nanna's Roses kit for the cover, which I've cut off, and then just scraps of paper folded in half to make the journal, and then this piece on the back here, and then when you close it all up Goes like that and goes like that, and on the back just a sewn collaged piece using bits from the Nana's Roses kit. And as you can see from the back here, it's actually slow stitching I've used to put it all together. So let me show you how I did it. I just love it, look, it's so lovely. Let me show you that bit of clustering on the front there. Is it going to focus in a bit better? There you go. Flower and a button and some lace. It's so sweet, I love it. Right, let me show you how we're going to put it together. So from your dyed tea bags you need 5. So I've got 5 here. 3 make the actual folio part, because that will fold over and then that will fold over like that. The extra 2 are for your pockets and tucks, and how I made those was I literally just folded it, not quite in half but almost in half, like that, and then that is going to get sewn onto that one just like that, and then again this one folded slightly and it's going to get sewn onto there like that. Now just to help it a bit, I did glue it, lightly glue it to hold it in place. So we're just going to do that a moment. So we're just going to get my Fabri-Tac, I use Fabri-Tac, and literally just very little bit of glue, just a bit there and a bit there. I'm going to fold it up round about there, and that will just hold that one into place for me a moment. And I'm going to do the same with this one. A little bit of glue here and here, fold it up where I roughly want it to be. They don't even have to be exactly the same size, these pockets. And then to help me, I'm going to put the pocket, lightly glue it onto that one there and onto that one there. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that a moment. Just lightly glue that down, and on the other side get rid of any spider bits that we don't want, any of the little strands, and I'm just going to pop that down there, making sure my openings are at the top, because they are what are going to make our pockets. So that one in there, and I've got a little pocket here, and so I need to glue this one as well. Now for the hinges as such, to make the folio hinges, you could use ribbon, you could use scraps of fabric. Like I said, I've used my dyed bed sheet, but it can be anything, ribbon, fabric, lace, whatever you can get your hands on. Even washi tape would probably work. I'm going to put that one on there like that. Just going to leave those two set a moment. Okay, now they are going to be my end ones. So if I get the original folio back, if I open it up, I have to cut that strandy bit off in a minute. So you can see all these pieces of ephemera here in the pockets. So I need that to be at the end, and this one with the pockets I need at the front. So the plain one that we didn't do anything, we haven't added anything to at the moment, needs to stay in the middle. So I'm just going to move that one out of the way, and I'm going to show you that this time round, instead of my bed sheet for the hinges, I'm cut out some pieces of fabric here. So that's going to be my hinge for there. like that, and another piece. So that's going to be my hinge for there, like that. So that's going to make my hinges. You can see that I've got a little bit of a gap here, because when we put our pieces of ephemera in, it will bulk it up. But also in this one here, I need room to sew in my journal. So the first hinge is where I need to be thinking about sewing in my journal. Now, as I said before, I slow stitched these and I used cross stitch all the way through. You could machine sew it, you could just use straight stitch. I've used straight stitch at the bottom, there along the bottom of them all I've used straight stitch, but up the sides of the hinges you can see here that I've used cross stitch. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to switch the camera off at the moment. For the moment, I'm going to do my slow stitching and then I'll come back and show you how far I've got. So I'll see you in a minute. Right, so I'm back and I just thought I'd show you what I've done. There were my pockets, look, that we glued before on the inside of the front here and the back of our folio, so that it will fold like that. And you will see that I've chosen some pretty fabric for the hinge just here, and I've slowed stitch, so I've done some slow stitching to hold those together. I might cut this bit off here in a minute. I'll see how I get on. That might go in a minute. I'll sort that out. So that's as far as we've got. Now I thought I would show you how I sew in my little journal, which is in the first hinge, and there it is, a scrappy pad journal, and it's just a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, obviously a mini one because it's a mini journal. And if I show you the center here, there it is. So it's just a standard 3-hole pamphlet stitch that I sewn into the first hinge. So I thought I'd show you how I do that. So I'm just going to bring my board and my little sewing kit here to show you what I do. So this is just a piece of sort of like hard sponge, and you can see all my holes already where I've punched in and sewn through. And here is my scrappy pad, and what I've done this time is I've just lightly stitched a bit of lace over the front cover of this one. I didn't do it last time, but I thought it looked quite pretty. So what I do is I open my journal, and it literally is just bits and pieces of paper that are scraps left over. Now I noticed in Julia's video yesterday, she was the letter S, she was saying about her preference of not using clips to hold her journal, which is fine. People, you know, it's whichever way suits you, how you do it. But she was also saying that she doesn't like leaving the clips long because they leave marks. Well, I always use a little bit of cardstock in mine, and I just keep them inside the clips, and I find that that helps to not leave any marks. So Julia, I don't know if that's that would help you at all, but there we go, that's how I do mine. So I'm literally just going to put one bulldog clip here, like that. Make sure it's on the card. That's what I've done there. Make sure it's in the middle. My center is all together. Like Julia says, sometimes you go off center. So I'm just making sure my journal is all correct there. And then this one, let me just open that. So you can see my bit of cardstock there. And I'm going to go the opposite way this time. So I'm going to go that end of the journal like that. Make sure my front way up. I know that's the front. I know it's got to go in there because that's going to be the front of the little folio. So I've got my awl, and I'm just going to make my 3 holes ready. So I'm just going to go there. That's roughly the centre. I don't measure, I eyeball it, but of course you could measure if you want to. And I'm going to put that in there, push that through so you can see the awl just poking through there like that. So that's my first hole, like that, and then I'm going to take the awl back out, and now I'm just going to eyeball the top one like that, and the bottom one like that. There we go. So that's roughly the 3 that I'm going to use. So again, that's my, let me just double check that. 1, 2, that was the first one, just there. Yep, so I'm now going to get my thread, and just like Julia did yesterday, exactly the same as Julie, I go through the middle one first. I always keep my awl handy in case I've lost my holes, which is often the case. So make sure I'm front in. I am. I'm just going to double check where my next hole is, and it's there. So I'm just going to make sure I've got that spot on so that I can put my needle back through, and see what I mean. I've lost it already. I normally, there we go, hold that tight. I normally grip my cover as well. There we go, I'm coming up through. Now I can, oops, see, now it's got caught around the bulldog clip because I didn't close the bulldog clip little handles. Okay, when you're on video, why do all these things always turn out to be a right nightmare? Always the way, isn't it, when you're on video? So I'm just going to pull that a minute, make sure we're level here. I might have to go through my last one again. Yep. Okay, so this time we need to skip the middle, come right down to our bottom one. There we go, like that. Make sure that's nice and tight. I'm just going to hold that a minute while I'm just going to pop that bit. This is another trick I do. The loose one from the centre, the one that we started with, what I sometimes do is pop it under the bulldog clip so that it's nice and tight and the bulldog clip is keeping it still for me. So now I can tighten and check again where the centre one is going to be, and we are off centre. My book is going to be slightly wonky. Let me just, right, there's my hole. Get my awl to show me where the hole is, holding it tight, and we're going to push that back up through. Lost it. Why is this not? Let me just try that again, folks. Nope. Let me just tighten it. Get my awl. And now it's not even coming out through the same. Let's try there. There we go. We are in. There we go. We are through. Yippee, yippee, yippee. So bulldog clips off, and I can tighten and tie my journal. I've got cream thread because, oh, tea for thread, because I haven't got any pink thread left, so I'm just having to use cream. Let me end off these, cut off these. Let me move everything out of the way, and we will put the end of the awl back on, move the clips out of the way, get rid of our rubbish, and let's have a look. Yep, fab. It is a little bit skew width, as you can see, but hey, I don't mind that at all. Look at that. I'm just going to get my bone folder, and because we are a bit skew width, I'm just going to give this a little squeeze tight shut, and then that will be there, that will be there, and then it will be tied shut. Lovely. Now the fun bits start. I love the decorating part. The first thing I am going to do is I'm going to glue, because I will forget, I'm going to glue my tie closure on. I'm just checking that this is the right one. I think so. And I'm going to glue it just about there on the back, so the back panel, and I'm going to glue it because it's going to be covered up, which will help it stay there. Now, because we're using tea bags, any glue I put on is going to seep through, and if I've got a pocket or anything, if I don't put anything there, the glue is just going to seep through and then the pockets will glue shut, so I don't want that to happen. So the easiest thing I find is a bit of plastic that I can easily fold into the sizes I need, and then I'm going to use that to stop my pockets from closing. So I need to put this into the back one, oops, to start with, because I want to glue my tie closure down through the back. So I'm just going to pop this in there. Can you see? So now I can put a bit of Fabri-Tac, bit of glue there, and it won't seep through to the front part. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Fabri-Tac down there, like that. I'm going to close that because we all know what happens to Fabri-Tac sometimes if you leave it. It seeps out everywhere, doesn't it? That's the centre. So I'm just going to let that hold just for a minute or two. Try and flatten that out, like that. Okay, and you can hear my plastic wrapper in there holding the pocket open slightly because I don't want this bit of glue to seep through. Okay, so that's, if I turn it up that way, that's the right way now. So I was showing you upside down. That's not a very good idea, is it? Right, so that's the back. Now I do have the back panel ready. And what I did for the back panel was I cut a piece of card to the size I wanted, the tea bag, just short of the tea bag size, and I've collaged it with the Nanna's Roses bits of paper. Remember, I printed 2 pages to 1, so it's half the size, so 2 on 1, and then you get the smaller size. So I've sewn it, collaged it up a little bit, as you can see. Oh, there we go. Okay, and I'm going to glue that bit there, keeping my plastic wrapper there so that the glue doesn't seep through. I'm just going to push my wrapper down a bit more because I want it near the bottom. Fabri-Tac on our piece of cardstock, our collage. I don't go edge to edge with the glue. I just tend to just randomly put the glue on as long as it's got enough to hold. I'm not one of these people that goes edge to edge. I do if I need it to be precise, but for this I am just going to hold that down for a minute or two so that it takes, making sure my plastic bag is in there. Okay, and after a minute or two I can take the plastic bag out and the glue should be almost dry, because Fabri-Tac will dry quite quickly. There we go. So that is the back panel done, and if I take the wrapper out, if I feel it, I can feel some of the glue on there, a bit sticky, but now hopefully the Fabri-Tac will have dried enough. Yep, I can get my finger in, so the pocket is fine. So that is the back. Now turning to the front here. Okay, so the front, I have something for the front which I'd like to make up. So the front, let me show you the original one as our guide. So we've got collaged up with the picture and some layering, and we've got a little bit of collage here. Can you see the lighting? It's not very good, is it? There we go, a bit of collage with a flower and a button. So I've got all that ready and it is here. Let me just reach for it. Okay, so here are my pieces. So that's the back part, and I'm going to, that'll be what goes down there like that, and I need to ink everything. So we've got a piece of old music paper here as well. That's going to go on the top of the Nanna's Roses paper. That's going to go there like that. And then I'm going to add some lace and some fabric along with it. So I'm going to ink it all up. So I've torn that edge down there. And I might give her a little bit of an ink as well, and because I don't go edge to edge when I'm gluing, I tend to ink the back side, because then I can do a bit of squishing and tearing if I want to, and ruching up the edges a bit like this, just squishing her in a bit, squishing her in there. And because I've inked the underside, it won't be white. There we go. And then the music paper, I always like to fold a little bit of it over like that on the side here, like that, and then I shall be gluing that and that onto there. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do her first. Get her in place. There you go. That's a bit of glue there. And I want her to go, make sure the music's the right way up, right? There, like that. Another bit of Fabri-Tac. Oh dear, come on. It's getting to the end of the bottle actually, so there you go. And I want that on there. Now before I put that on the page, I want to add a little bit of fabric and lace here towards the bottom. So I'm going to cut that there. So it's literally, I love this because it's so small, this little Teabag Folio, that you can really use up your scraps. So I'm just going to put some glue across here, like that. Got some polka dot fabric here. I'm going to ruche that up a bit. Just squish it up like that. And I've got a lovely little bit of lace here, which I want to go on the top. So I'm just going to put some Fabri-Tac down for that as well. going to put that on there. Again, ruching it up in places, giving it a bit of a ruffle effect. Sometimes it's a bit tricky because you get the glue on your finger and you can't hold it down, it tends to ride up. So just have to hold that down for a minute, get my bone folder end, and it just, let me push that down. There we go, that's sometimes what I do. Multi-use for a bone folder, and I just hold that down. Okay, we're going to cut that bit off there, like that. Ink up the edge again. And then I've got a flower here and a little button that I've already threaded. And I threaded that button with, it's a pink button, and I've threaded it with that white Teabag string. So that's that, and I'm going to put some of that glue. Come on, glue. There you go, bit of Fabri-Tac glue there, and on the button as well, like that, and push that in there like that. Fiddly fiddly because it's little. Just hold the Fabri-Tac there for a couple of seconds. Again, use my bone folder. Get it in place, just holding it down for a couple of seconds, and it should take, still a little bit bouncy. Okay, just wait for that to go off, and you can see, I don't know what's wrong with my, is it too bright? Let me see if I can lower the brightness of it. Is that a bit better? Has it been a bit dazzling for you? I'm really sorry if it has. Does that help? Maybe. Right. Might be a bit better then. Sorry. That one. Right. And now I want to put that on the front. But remember, I need my plastic bag because I don't want to get glue seeping through. So my plastic bag goes through the middle of the tea bag opening, like that. And then that means I can glue up my front collage. Like this. And glue that down. Just ink a bit of the underside. And that's on the front, so I want that to be like that. Got my plastic bag in there. Got Fabri-Tac coming out everywhere. When I want it to come out, it doesn't. And then when I don't want it to come out, it starts to pour everywhere. I'm going to keep my plastic bag in there a minute. Okay, and I just want to show you these here because I've already made 2 collage strips up. I am learning a lot from our Stephanie Howes in the RachandBella group. She is the queen of clustering. Hi Stephanie, I'm learning lots from you. So I've done these mini little clusters with a flower with a brad through, and I've sewn it to keep it all together. And another one here, so it's literally just a piece of the Nanna's Roses paper underneath, then some blue lace, then a bit of book page and another piece of Nanna's Roses kit, flower and a brad, a split pin, and then I've sewn that to keep it all together. And these are for the inside pages of our folio. That one's going to go there for that front pocket, and this one is going to go here for that back pocket. So I can take out my plastic wrapper now here, and it is tacky, this one, so I'm just going to open it and fold it up a different way. Sorry for the noise if you don't like that noise. I'm going to pop it back in this little pocket here because I want my Fabri-Tac to now glue down this one here. So I need to pop that one on there. I'm just going to hold that down, and I'm going to, that Fabri-Tac is dripping, so I'm just going to pop it on this one a minute, and I'm going to now close that, pop the lid on it. Right, so there's that one, and again, yep, can feel the glue, so I'm just going to move that around, pop it in the back pocket. Oops, ready for this bit of collaging here to go on there. Lovely. It's so good that Fabri-Tac is quick drying, isn't it? I've also got a plastic ruler here which I can make sure by popping in here that my pockets haven't glued together. There we are. I'll just hold that one there in place a minute, like that. Make sure that's all okay, and I'm just going to check this front one here that we did. Just make sure, yep, that's all good. So super duper so far. So now we've got the front cover collaged up, the inside pocket collaged up, we've got our little journal sewn in, and we've got the back little pocket collaged up, and I want to do that one there now. So I'm going to put my plastic bag back. Oh no, I don't need to do that yet, because let me show you what we're doing. So if I open this one up, you can see that we've got some little stuck on beads here, and a lacy collage strips up on this collage. So I've got all this one ready to show you. So this time I thought we would use some of these blue gems here. There. So I'm going to make sure my papers all fit. Is it that way or that way? I think it's that way. Yep, that's going to fit on there nicely. That's my back piece. So I'm going to ink that up, and this is another piece from Nanna's Roses. Let me do the underside as well. The size of this journal, the tea bags are, let me measure the tea bags. So the tea bags are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9 centimetres tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 centimetres wide. Oh, sorry. 9 centimetres tall by about 6 wide. So that's how big the journal is. So we've got that one there. I'm going to ink up her. I've had to cut this image down even more. Even though I've printed 2 to a page, she was still slightly too big. So I've cut her down. Actually, I've done that with a couple of them. So just bear that in mind. Right, that's lovely. That's going to go on there. So let's glue her. Come on, glue. Right, there we go. So that's her. She's going to go in there. And remember, I said before, I like to leave a little edge over. That's dripping. So let's grab that quickly. And that's going to go on there. And I've got some lace here, so I'm just going to put that across there. Now I'll put the lid on a minute and do that up. So I've got some pinky lace here. I think it's that way, and I'm going to just pop that on there like that. And then I've got some little blue lacy trim, which might need a bit more Fabri-Tac, so I'm just going to, there we go, put a bit more of that on there. And I've got something hanging from my fingers, getting glue everywhere, and that is going to just stick on there. Oh, lovely. How pretty is that? I love this little bit of blue lace trim. I don't know how much I've got left. And again, I'm just going to use the edge of my bone folder. Every now and then this bone folder, because I do hold the glue down, I will wash my bone folder off because there's bits of glue remnants that get stuck on there, as you can see. Look, so every now and then I'll just give that a good old clean off. Right, that is super duper. Look at that. How sweet is that? So I'm just going to cut off the bit we don't need. We don't need that bit there. There we go. Get rid of that bit. Put that somewhere. Keep hold of that. There she is. But I do want to put a couple of gems on her. That's the word I was looking for. So I'm going to get my craft knife because I find that that helps me get these gems off. I will glue them down. I won't just rely on the stickiness that's on them already because I don't know how old my gems are. So if they're quite old, they don't tend to stick very well. I just want the smaller ones, so I'm going to have maybe the middle-sized ones. That one there, and there, and that one there, there, and let's have that one there. So 3, and that one there. Yep, that one there. 3, 4. Do I want another one? Let me have a look. No, I quite like that. Super. Lid on a craft knife marine. Right, let's bring the Teabag journal back over, and she's going on there like that. So I want my bit of plastic again, and this time I want to pop it inside this one here. It's a little bit fiddly, but it will go in. There we go. Let's get that one in. Let's open this one up. There we go. Can you see what I'm doing? Am I in frame? I am. Right. It's nerve-wracking doing video, isn't it? Normally I just do flip-throughs and things. I've done a couple of make with me's, but I am a bit like nervous with this one. I hope you are enjoying it, ladies and gents. Antonio, if you're watching, and any other gents. I loved your fancy pocket, Antonio. Jez, I loved your library card. That was a good idea. So many fab ones to watch. Get so many ideas, don't we, when we share them. Right, that's going to go. Let me make sure this is the right one, Marie. Yep, you are on the right one. That's going to go on there. Just going to hold it a minute while it takes. Okay. That one. How sweet is she? Sorry, I'm covering her face. Isn't she so sweet? There we go. So now we have all that done. Look at that. Going to leave that in there just for a minute. So something on the back here underneath the journal. There. That. Oh, There we are, that one there. So I've done a bit of, oh, are you going to stay in focus? There we go. There we go. So a little bit of tearing here, tearing, T, little bit of cluster of thread, T. So that was what I thought we would do for that one. So I've got that already. So let me bring that over. Going to move mine out of the way a minute while that's drying. Okay, so here, this is the back piece, and I've made this a bit sturdier because it is the back. So that's cardstock, and then what I'm going to do here, I've got 3 pieces from the Nanna's Roses kit. I've cut out a bit of the lace on one of the sheets, and that beautiful girl, and then that will go in like that. So I need to ink everything and ruche it up a bit. Let me do the underside because I do want to ruche this one just a little bit. So I'm just going to just crush it down a little bit there, crush it down a little bit here. How are we doing for time? 51 minutes. Oh gosh. Right, there, okay. And then let's ink this one. I could have done some of these off camera actually, so that you didn't have to watch me do all this, but I thought it might be quite nice for you to see my process and the things I do and how we're going to finish and end up with this beautiful journal. Little folio journal. So I'm going to need to glue that on there. So let's get my Fabri-Tac again. I could have used a bit of PVA for this, but I've got my Fabri-Tac out, so I might as well use it. Oop, don't want you yet, thread. And that is going to go on there like that. Okay, I'm down a bit, aren't I? Let me move myself up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And this bit here, we need to stick on that bit there, like that. There we have those ruched up sides, and then that bit we need to stick on here, like that. Just going to make sure that's going to fit on there. Yep, yes it is. So let's get my bit of thread here, because I'm just going to put that there with my button on the top. So just got that there. Just going to just pop all that on there like that. There, and then the button is going to go on the top. Let me get the lid on my, and we're just going to hold that down while it sticks, like that. And I'm going to move the plastic wrapper out of this pocket. Oh, see, it's got stuck. There we go. Rearrange it. Pop it into the back one. Like that. It is a bit of a faff, but actually it's not too bad. There, like that. And now I need to glue the back of this. There we go. There we go. Just going to put my lid on because this is dripping everywhere. And then I'm going to pop that in the middle of the back. There we go. That one's going to go down there. Isn't she cute? Doing the pages, doing a small folio like this and printing off the pages 2 to 1, cutting out all the pieces of ephemera and everything, do you know it's made me appreciate Rachel's work even more, because you have to really look and see the details. Cutting out all the little pieces of ephemera has made me look closely at the collage sheets and journal pages, and her work is exquisite. It really is. Right, I'm just going to leave that in there just to take a bit more, and we've got the plastic bag underneath, so I'm not going to worry about the glue seeping through. And I just want to show you what I've got here, because I've got my pieces of ephemera already, because I didn't want for you to be watching me cut out and put tea stain pages on the back of them. So I've got things already. So if I can just show you what I mean by sort of like looking for the detail. Look at how many pieces of tiny bits of ephemera I've got, and that's really looking closely at the collage sheets, because that bit has been cut out from one, that bit has been cut out from another, and the flowers, the roses, the seed packets, that I've cut out from one of the tags. I love that image, so I've just cut it out of one of the tags. And I've got 2 tags here, and I've punched a hole and put a tiny eyelet in there with my crocodile, used the Teabag thread, and that is a normal size tag that was in the kit. Of course it's smaller because I printed 2 to a page, but look, if you wanted a smaller tag, all you have to do is you could cut out off that bit there, and that would be a little piece of ephemera, and then you'd have a smaller tag for this one here. And talking of smaller tags, that was a long tag, but I've actually cut her off slightly to make that smaller. So that's the normal size, and then I've just made her slightly smaller. So that's some ephemera there, and then I've got more ephemera here. Look at, they're just gorgeous. Look at these tiny pieces of ephemera. Look at her. She's gorgeous, isn't she? And I've literally just backed them onto tea stain paper and inked them up. Right, so let's put the finishing touches to our journal. I'm going to take the plastic bag out now, like that. So, oh yeah, that had some glue in it, that one did. And before I put my pieces of ephemera in, I am just going to make sure all my pockets are okay. Yeah. Yep, that was stuck together a little bit, but it's reopened now. This one here. Oops. There we go. Yep, that one's okay. And the front one. Yep, that one's okay, and the pockets are all okay. Great. So now I can start to fill the pockets. So that one can go in there. I might put that one in there as well, and that one, and then we'll put that one in the back pocket, and that one in the back pocket as well. That one seems to be curling, so I just curled it round the other way, and sometimes I'll use my Pritt stick or something round like the Fabri-Tac bottle just to curl them around the other way, because when you put wet glue on, maybe like a glue stick, it happens more when you're gluing the tea stain pages on. Sometimes mine will curl, so I just like to uncurl them, curl them the other way. And then we've got our little journal all sewn in. That's the underneath back. And then we've got some tags here, which I'm going to put one in there and the other one in there. Of course, you can write on the back of these. How cool are this? How sweet. And then that one's from one of the other tags, but I just like the image, so I'm going to separate the tags like that. Again, this one's curling round, so I'm just going to curl it back the other way. And then that's going to go in there. And then I'll put that little sweet upside down. I like it that way. Let's put it in there. Oh, Rachel, thank you for doing these. Look at these tiny, tiny. Oh, I love them. Little bits and pieces. And that goes in there. Look at that. And we're not finished either, because now we have 3 pockets here in the actual tea bags themselves. And I have got 3 more of the tags, but what I did was I cut off the curly bit of the tag at the top, the tops of the tag, and to make them into journal cards. They look like they're collaged, so I've put them onto card and I've inked them up already, and I need to think about which side I want them to go in, because the way this folio closes, so that way, so I want this one to be upwards. So I'm going to pop that one in there, like that. So that's okay. Is that in the mid down the bottom? Yep. And then the back one needs to be this way. So I need to pop that one in there, like that. And then the front one, I want it up this way, facing upwards, so it's got to go in this way here. There we go, and voila. And this is the little Teabag Folio journal. How sweet is this? So I have 2 now, because I made one and then made another one with you today. So I think I will give one away as part of the collaboration gifts, along with some tea bags. So remember, to do that you have to comment on everyone's video throughout the length of the collaboration, letters A to Z, and you will get some prizes at the end. So my prize will be one of these tea bag journals, and I'll also throw in some tea bags and some other bits and pieces as well. You'll get some happy mail. So thank you for watching. I have reached 100 subscribers now. I think I'm over. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have liked what you've seen, I know it's been quite a long video, but I wanted to show you how I put these together. Please like, comment, and also if you're not subscribed and you would like to subscribe, press that button, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you very much. Bye.